What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Smiths, and I do want to apologize. I know it's been a little bit longer than I intended. Indeed, I think like the last 3 reaction sessions I did, I had it in mind to do a Smiths tune. The first time I ran out of time. The second time I had to adjust what I was doing because I lost a bunch of time to a tutoring job that came in, which, I do have to sort of, make money with my real jobs before I can, devote time to this. Nevertheless, the point is, it's long overdue, so we're back to the album Meat is Murder, 1985, and we're going to listen to the tune Barbarism Begins at Home. It's a very expressive title. I forget who it was. I think maybe Kate Bush? I'm trying to remember. I reacted to a tune recently where it was about the idea that, little boys growing up, the way that they're sort of emotionally stunted or developed can have major consequences when some of these boys grow up to be big, large, powerful men in sort of, politics and military and industry and so on. And the idea is that, the way in which a kid might be socialized or sort of taught to be emotional in one way or another could lead to terrible, awful consequences, the worst things that humans do when these kids grow up and start making big decisions in the world, like, genocidal massacres and sort of jingoism and sort of, total war and so on. So when I see the phrase barbarism begins at home, that's kind of where my brain goes to it. The idea that there might be such awful, abusive or psychologically torturous experiences, if not physically torturous experiences, that kids grow up with, that ultimately, the ones who survive, maybe some of them, not a majority surely, but maybe some of them grow up to sort of manifest all that sort of negative experience on others, to sort of, cause some of the same carnage and havoc that was rendered upon them because they did not grow up in an emotionally healthy way, and it led them to make sort of choices that were ultimately, very brutal, as it turns out. So let's find out. This is the Smiths. The tune is Barbarism Begins at Home, and it's from the 1985 album Meat is Murder. Electricity too, like a
unruly boys who will not grow up must be taken in hand. Unruly girls who will not settle down, they must be taken in hand. A crack on the head is what you get for not asking, and a crack on the head is what you get
not asking or for asking.
Unruly boys who will not grow up must be taken in hand. Unruly girls who will not settle down and must be taken in hand. What you get for not asking, and a crack on the head is what you get for asking.
I like the tone of this one. That sort of coyote yelp vocal is really interesting.
What you get for not asking, and a crack on the head is what you get for asking. A crack on the head is just what you get because of who you are. And a crack on the head is just what you get because of what you are. A crack on the head.
thought it was actually going to end completely there. But I dig a funky, kind of groovy outro. But yeah, it felt like the song was more, not so much about people who've been mistreated growing up to mistreat others, but about like the people who are doing the mistreating are probably doing it at all levels, and it begins in their own homes, in their personal lives, and then it is also manifested on larger levels, is what it felt like. This is like really interesting composition. Like the lyrics, it felt like there wasn't that much on the page. Then we went into a long sort of like melodic singing section without actual like lyrics. And now like a funky groove outro that's longer than you would think. That's crazy. I'm interested in a number of reasons now. One, I like the atmosphere. It had a sort of, kind of serious tone. It wasn't like overly light and sort of floaty like some of their tunes, but it wasn't sort of like, really kind of driving like some others that I've heard. So yeah, it had a sort of like a really interesting tone to it. Again, the composition, the progression of the track, to have what felt like a more regular tune in the first third, and then to have a long sort of like, again, like not instrumental because he was singing, but it was like this long melodic sort of non-lyrical section, and then to finish it with a real sort of instrumental outro kind of funky groove. Yeah, the composition of that tune is fascinating. And as I said, it felt like what the lyrics are more about is less, kids growing up to sort of reverse or like return the abuse that society has leveled on them to others, and thus sort of perpetuating a cycle. It felt more about like the abuse that's happening. It might be happening on the biggest and most global of scales, but it starts at the most intimate and familial levels. So yeah, let me know if I'm onto something there. Once again, apologies to the Smiths people. I know it was a little longer than normal. I'm sure a number of people realize I'm going through like a crazy number of groups. It is getting close to the point where like I don't want to like anger any one group that I'm going through by making them wait too long. So I'm going to try to like knock down some of the deep dives I'm going through before I take on too many more others, although there's a couple that I am preparing to start soon. So yeah, bottom line, trying to get through everything. If it does, get to like 2 weeks or something and I haven't come back, please do let me know. Though again, just try to understand that, time is finite. And I do not have an unlimited amount. Nevertheless, I am going to try to do another Smiths reaction in this sort of reaction batch, so that I'm sort of like catching up a little bit, getting back up to speed. So, which incidentally will be the last tune, the title track on Mita's Murder. So, yeah, hopefully, shortly after you see this video, the video for Mita's Murder should be up. In any case, let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time. Peace.